taking place, breaking norms, sudden trends, wage of the day, uncontained, making space, cultivating grace. Yeah. Filling space, converging minds on the same page. Every day, every way. Word of the day. Word of the day. Conversation.
Man, what is going on, everybody? What is going on? You know what it is. It's Wade's Word of the Day. So thankful and grateful to be hanging out in this space with each and every one of you. So what I need you to do is tag, text, and tell somebody. Yeah, tell them to come on in the space tonight and hang out with your boy. We got our friend, our colleague, Leanna Winstead. She's in the house. She's back in the green room getting ready, for Wellness Wednesday and all of that good stuff. So, I need y'all to go ahead and tap in real quick and come on into space. Wade's Word.
Taking place, breaking norms, sudden trends, wage of the day, uncontained, making space, cultivating grace. Yeah.
Yes, Wade's Word of the Day. All right. I'm waiting for some of y'all to come on into space. Verlin Barr, Maxine Howard, and others are in the space. Everybody go ahead and tag, text, and tell somebody. Y'all know what it is. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we show up in this space. I'm grateful and thankful to have each and every one of you who are hanging out with us on tonight. Are you excited? In the comment section, go ahead and just check in today. Let us know how you're feeling, how you're doing, what's going on with you. We certainly would appreciate it. So go ahead and do that real quick. I'm going to do what I'm asking you all to do, as I always do. I'm going to tag, text, and tell somebody as well. Why don't you do the same? Why don't you do the same? Make sure that you like the post, heart the post, that you drop a comment, if you will. Yeah, we need everybody to be doing all of those things today. And we appreciate everyone who does do that. The 3 pillars that we operate in these social media streets: we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube. Matter of fact, remember, our goal is to get everyone, if you will, to, make your way over to those YouTube streets, if you will. Pastor R.D. Wade, Long Hill Bible Church. Whoever you want to check in that space. Primarily for Wade's Word of the Day, it would be Pastor R.D. Wade. So make sure that you go over there, subscribe to the page, to the channel and all of that stuff, that you check in and that you tell everybody you know. Mondukes has made her way into the space as well. I see Shakira has made her way into the space, but I don't see anybody hitting those hearts and hitting those likes. I don't see anybody tagging, texting, and telling anybody. Listen, we're excited about today, but we ain't going no more further till I see y'all hit those hearts and hit those likes and tag, text, and tell somebody. So go ahead and do it. I'm going to give you 30 seconds, Leanna's time, not my time, because she's leading the show on today. So why don't you go ahead and do that? And while you are doing that, everything's going to be all right.
Yeah. Be alright, be alright. Life is strange, full of pain. Joy and happiness is all the same. But you have to reclaim Become your best self. Stop tripping off what people say. Don't you know it's gonna be a brighter day, brighter day, brighter day, brighter day. Lift your hands. Do it, y'all. Come on, better, 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 better. Better days are coming. Better days are coming. Better, 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 better.
Yeah, better days are in fact coming, and they're coming right now because it's Wellness Wednesday. So y'all make me help y'all make me help y'all help me welcome into this space my sister, Leanna Winstead, for another edition of Wellness Wednesday. Another edition of Wellness. Here we go. Wellness Wednesday, y'all. What up? What up? What up?
What's good with you?
Oh man, everything is good. Everything is good. Excited to be in this space tonight. Everybody clap it up for Leanna Winstead. Show her some love tonight. I don't think y'all doing it. Everybody cheer. All right, all right, all right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody do that thing. Go ahead and drop some comments in the comment section. Just simply say, welcome, welcome, Leanna Winstead, into the space for another edition of Wellness Wednesday. I don't know about you, but I have certainly been enjoying Wellness Wednesday, co-hosting with my dear sister, and I hope that you all have been enjoying it too. And as a sign of you enjoying it, you need to be inviting somebody. You need to be telling somebody, what we got going on over here on these streets. Don't let us be out here all by ourselves. Don't just show up. You know what frustrates me the most, Leanna, is that folk just show up and that's what used to frustrate and it used to frustrate me about church.
Yeah.
Folk just show up trying to get what they can get for themselves. And then they walk out and say, oh, everything was a blessing, but they never tell anybody else. Don't be like them folk.
Exactly.
Be like them folk. You show up, but don't tell nobody else. If you're being blessed, if you're being encouraged, if you're growing, if you're learning, it's only right
It is
to be
only
a
right.
conduit and share.
If
Yeah,
you see something, say something.
yeah. There you go. It's only right. It's only right. In these social media streets, that's what this thing is all about. It's about telling somebody, and it's so simple to do it. Nowadays, you know what I mean? All you got to do is hit that heart, like, tag, text, and tell somebody.
Say what?
That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. So
That's one of my biggest fears.
That's one of your biggest fears?
Oh yes, I think that's why. And what's really crazy is how the podcast, still these few episodes that is out, how they picked up steam like out of nowhere. But if I don't tell nobody, you know what I mean? Because being outside, being out in front, that's always been the hardest thing for me. And like I'm a very critical, hard on myself. My mom will tell you she's there. I'm very hard on myself. So this is one of the biggest things. So this is just my brave perspective. So I'm thankful for the space.
Well,
Tell somebody.
the reality is, hey, we all got to find our path. We all got to find our space. But at the end of the day, if one is not willing to step out to find out, you don't miss any shots that you don't take. I was watching Uncle Drew the other night, and he reminded me of that. Right? You don't
Amen.
miss any shots that you don't take. Right? And so, what life is really about, taking shots, right? And then understanding you may not make every shot, but it's not about just making the shots, it's having the courage to take the shots, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're trying to encourage people to do. in this space to grow, to learn, to evolve, to develop, um, to be open to, to understanding that, the connection between our spirituality is this kind of wholeness connection, right? That not only causes us to look within, but also to look without.
Yeah.
But it is in the process of looking within, if I don't take what I discover when I look within and then apply it to what's going on around me, right?
That's it.
Then what's the whole, purpose of it if you really think about it, right? So even if we're talking about sharing in whatever capacity, sharing the gospel, right? Sharing our testimony, right? Sharing love, you know what I mean? Sharing our substance. It's about taking what I have discovered on the inside, right? And then now applying that to, the world around me,
Yeah.
right? And just having a willingness to do that because I just believe that we all have something to offer. We all have something to give. We all bring something of value into the spaces that we show up in. We just have to have the courage to show up. And
We
then
just have to have the courage, and sometimes we don't, or
yeah,
we have the courage to give you just a little bit, for whatever reason that the belief systems that you have. But again, even in that, we tend to look outward and blame everybody else. Like you said, once we get to the inside, and the risk part is just so multifaceted. I'm so glad you said that because that's what I was, you know,
yeah,
that's the word that just kept coming to my mind earlier when I was, doing my reading up on fasting so that I could be prepared for tonight. So, right, we
yeah.
all have something to offer, but we always don't feel like we do. And I'm just, again, yeah, I got you. I'm with you.
Yeah,
What you know
there it
about faith?
is.
Message.
There there it is, there it is. You feel what I'm saying? We
Yeah,
all
yeah,
we all have something to share, and it's really, about just simply showing up, right, in whatever capacity that might be, and so I need everybody to show up, like, right now. Go ahead and hit those stars buttons. That stars button, we're asking everyone, if you can, 200 stars, that's simply $2. If you can do that tonight, go ahead and do that, you know, tap on that stars button. It's right there on the bottom. You tap on it. Yeah, follow the instructions. They lead you, this whole technology. They'll lead you. They'll get you where you so go ahead and do that if you can on tonight. So we're talking about wellness. We wanna kinda continue our conversation a little bit on fasting and some of those things, and so check this out.
Today, today you can make these changes. None of these are that difficult. You can. You just have to make up your mind. Do you want chronic diseases of man today, or do you want to die when you are 98 years old, just walking down the street and dropping dead?
There it is. You know what I mean? Ultimately, I'm like that, I feel that because, that's me, right? That's me. I want to, um, when it's time for me to go, I don't wanna be so chronically, uh, jacked up and messed up, you know what I mean? I just don't want that, you know what I mean? I want to, just a natural course of living and it happens. And to me, that's what wellness is all about, right? Trying to figure that out for my body, trying to figure that out for my mind, trying to figure that out for my spirit. I don't want to kind of be all, broken down and everything like that. And I tell people that even in terms of my profession, I'm just not that dude, you know. I'm just trying to keep it 100, I'm just not that dude. I don't want to be in a pulpit at 70 and 80 years old. You know what I mean? Sleep. You know what I mean? Somebody rubbing me on the shoulder. Doc, all right, it's time for you. And then you get up there. No, I don't want that. I don't want I don't want that. No, I don't want that. Some people, we come out of tradition where some people think it's honorable to die in the pulpit in that way. I don't, you
yeah,
know, and to me that's no different than it's kind of like these folk who work um, 80 years at a job and just working all the time and never take any moments just to enjoy life. You're so busy,
Nope.
you work 60 years of your life, and then you may get 5 years of your life.
If that.
Life, yeah, no, that I don't want that. I don't want that. Some people feel like that's honorable. I don't. You know what I mean? I'm, I want to keep it a buck. I want to be able
Yeah.
to pass the mantle and go somewhere and be on the beach and turn on the social medias, and watch somebody else do their thing.
Right.
That's just me. You know what I mean? I
And know
don't.
that you left some nuggets or something for somebody. You
Yeah,
blazed the trail for somebody else to do it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the fruits of your labor. That's the way it's supposed to go. But a lot of people get stuck in that, like you said, that tradition there.
no. I mean, I think the biggest, if I have a critique, one of the biggest critiques that I have is that some of our leaders stuck around too long. You know what I mean? It's a shame when you're looking at folk talking to somebody who's like in their 50s and they're like, oh, that's the next up and coming emerging leader. 50 years old. What does that say about, most of our leaders now, man, they're in their 80s
Yeah.
and they just won't let it go. And I think that's been the problem of this generation. Dr. King was only 39 years old, y'all.
Yeah.
He really only, led the civil rights movement for about like 13 years or something to that effect. Not it wasn't long, but most of these folk who came after him, man, they don't want to sit down somewhere, and that
Right.
doesn't mean you don't stop living, but I just feel like what I do in a real way is a young man's game. It's not.
How so? Explain that. Break it down.
I just think it takes a lot of energy to do, what I do. And so um it just takes a lot of energy, mental
Absolutely.
energy, physical energy, um, spiritual energy, just the notion of having to come. I mean, I see our job harder than any CEO that runs any Fortune 500 company in a real way because you have to be on every week.
Yeah.
You have to be on every week. And then when you show up, you have all of these folk who don't understand you have this ancient book,
Yeah.
generations after generations after
Yeah.
generations after generations have spoken about, and folk expect you to show up week after week and give them something fresh.
Yeah. You are not human. Just go
That
ahead and
takes,
give it to me.
that takes a lot.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of energy. And then on top of that, in terms of, folk getting their feelings if you don't show up where they think you should show up, when they think you should show up, um, and don't dare to be kind of like me, where you're also really community minded in a real way, not this kind of fake and phony type of I'm in community type of thing. You feel
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
But if you show enough in these streets trying to bring about show enough change, oftentimes amongst people who either don't think they need change or don't want change. You
There it is.
know, um, just to give a story, I remember we were trying to get Martin Luther King Park here in the city, get some work done on that, just rehabilitated. And so showed up over there, got interviewed over there, and as I was making my way over there to be interviewed, folk coming out of the wilderness talking about leave our park alone. Our park is fine. We don't need y'all to come over here and do nothing with the park, all of that stuff. So
Wow.
yeah, so just a lot of challenges. I mean, today I was with Uber drivers who are trying to navigate a better existence for their lives, where, allegedly, I want to put that because I don't want to,
Yeah.
folks get crazy now, but allegedly they're taking more than half of the money from the Uber, in terms of the fares, the Uber driver. So if it's a $15 fare, Uber gets $8.50 of that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't understand what gives these people. You know how cold-hearted you all have to be in agreement with to just beat people down the
Mm.
way that these corporations are. It's just, don't let me go off on a tangent. I'm listening to you. I am
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I am listening.
So all I'm simply, so I went a little left for a minute too, but all I'm simply saying is it takes a lot if you are really interested in doing something, right? And so at some point you have to, this is that whole conversation about walking in wellness, right? At some point you have to begin to look at your limitations, right? Superman is only in the comic books.
That's it.
That Superwoman. Old girl who sang that song, I'm not your superwoman. There's some realness to that. You understand what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
and we have to be clear about that. And so, you know, somebody always comes after us. So we should never um, get to the place or space where we believe that we're not replaceable because somebody always comes after us. And even
Yes.
Jesus kind of says this, right? He says, I must go that he might come. Right. And
Mhm.
so we lose sight of that sometimes when we, somebody always comes after us. And so I tell people, even in terms of, when you're working, understand something. I know you love that job, but they only love you as long as you're there. The moment
That's it. That's all.
the day you leave, they'll have somebody in there within 2 weeks. That's why they
That's
want
it.
you 2 weeks notice. You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So never lose sight of that. Never lose sight of that. It's all right to love what you love, but especially when you're operating within these corporate constructs, be clear about that.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, they don't love you like that because
They
if they
don't.
really loved you like that, they would pay you your worth, and that's
Yeah.
just the truth.
That is the absolute truth.
That's just now we're supposed to be talking about something else, and we didn't
But that's
got
what happened when people get together and they connect and they just build. That's all.
we didn't got on something else, but yeah, the point I think that we're trying to make is that wellness is not just simply about being healthy physically. It's about all three of those things, right? Being good physically, mentally, and spiritually. And when you get in tune uh, in those three spaces, triune spaces, then you have clarity of purpose, right? And you begin to be clear about who you are, where you are, and as the songwriter would say, you begin to understand when to hold them and when to fold them. You know what I mean? And you are cool with that, and you're good with that. So I think that's kind of what we're trying to say to individuals. Now, I don't think that you ever stop being useful and adding value, right? So simply because I'm saying that I don't want, to be pastoring the church at 80 or in a pulpit having to be responsible for preaching, every week or 3 times a Sunday, whatever that number might be, that doesn't mean you should stop being useful or adding value in the spaces that you operate in because from your life experiences, that's what you can leave or add to the young folk who are coming up behind you. So young folk bring energy, older folk bring wisdom, right? Bring
Yeah.
wisdom. So
Yeah.
so there's just simply a transition, no different than what happens with your children, right? When they're younger, you feed them, you lead them, you change them, you correct them, but then as they get older, you kind of release the reins, and now you're just there to offer a level of wisdom.
Yes.
But at that point, if you still feeding a 21-year-old, then something wrong with you. You understand? Here you go, baby. You know what I mean? You still changing diapers of a 21. There's something wrong with you. You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, so we need to understand that the life is, as the old folk used to say, really about all of these swift transitions and understanding when to transition and then how to transitions gracefully. And sometimes I don't know if we know how to do that well in a lot of our contexts, right?
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. I totally agree. I don't think we know how to. I think we understand it and we comprehend it because we comprehend the English language. But I think that causes some stuckness, for lack of a better word. People are like, well, you keep telling me to do it. I just don't know how. And so they get stuck. So, one of the ways that you can clear that brain fog so that you can hear clearly, fasting.
That was a great transition. Tell them about it. Tell them about it. Go ahead. Go ahead. We're listening.
Fasting has like just I'm glad that the gentleman said it the way that he said because I'm not always sure how me I could be of here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that he said it that way. Just some simple changes that are free or some food changes that are very minimal at cost that you can literally grow in your kitchen. However, fasting lowers um, our blood glucose,
Mm-hmm.
which can lead to decreased blood pressure. Fasting helps to start clearing up the good bacteria in your belly. But let me go back just a little bit. Diabetes is one of the things that there is a push. You know how they keep talking about it in the news or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's things that just initiatives to try to push the pre-diabetic medication. Like I said before, I don't think we need that. Our body is supposed to create these things naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Fasting is what helps that. I know that a lot of people may be on some sort of medication related to diabetes, or they say, oh, my sugar crash. So you always have to be mindful of that if you try to make any changes. But fasting, even just for 4 hours, there is significant change, noticeable change in the body and in the makeup. And it also helps because remember, I've been saying for the past couple of weeks that the lower extremities, the lymphatic system, it's not an automatic pump. So to give your stomach a relaxation, allow things to move. It's just like thinking of like 84. You're trying to get to Hartford on 84 and everything is just backed up right in Southington. That's just the way that it is in our bodies. So we need to fast to allow less traffic there. Let's give it a rest and also move. But fasting, you can do certain things today. And I have some written down. I had a whole bunch, but I get nervous. And so I just feel like, never mind, I'm skip it. I'm sorry. I digress. One of the biggest things, too, for me is it boosts brain fog. Sometimes we don't even realize that it is actual brain fog that we are experiencing, even getting the headache. That's just your body wanting sugar when you claim that, well, not when you claim you fast, when you say that you fast, when you get that headache. So you want to combat that by making sure you stay hydrated. But fasting, we need it. We hear from God better if you want to keep it spiritual. But it lowers your insulin levels. It helps your body to rest because elimination is key. You cause a lot of diseases and illnesses when we don't fast. We just keep piling toxins and pathogens on top of pathogens and more crap. So that's my spiel. I think I went a little off too, but I'm back.
No, that's good. I think, a couple key things from that. One, our bodies are really not meant to be eating all day long. that's just a reality, and I think we don't understand that. Eating all day long is really not good for you, irregardless of this notion of smaller portions and all of this kind of stuff. No, you really shouldn't be eating all day long. And so, what fasting does, it offers an opportunity for the body to do what the body naturally wants to do. And I think
Right.
you put up some great points in terms of lowering the sugar, which now helps to reduce, this area of high blood pressure and all of those particular things. It gets rid of the bad bacteria that often causes what they call leaky gut syndrome, and it allows so all bacteria in your body is not bad. There is this good bacteria, but then oftentimes because of the food that we eat, it's overran by a lot of the bad bacteria that oftentimes stores itself in the
Yeah.
belly. And I think that's a challenge for all of us, right? I mean, I'm trying to get my 3.5 pack back, and I'm sure everybody else is. It's back. Brother, at this stage, I just want a 3.5. Just give a brother a 3.5. You feel what I'm saying?
I got you.
But the goal is to start somewhere. And so we're not simply, one, we always talk about, speak to your doctor. We're not simply saying start off and just be trying to fast, go on a full fast or water fast, whatever. Just, eliminate one meal. And you'll be amazed. Um, the reality is that most of us can really live well off of eating one time a day.
Yeah.
That's just the truth. One time a day, this whole notion, that they taught us in elementary school, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. To me, that just seems like the capitalistic mindset to keep money flowing.
Say
And
it one more time for the people in the back.
the capitalistic mindset to keep money flowing and products flowing and all of those particular things. But the reality is, you can live well off of really just eating one meal a day,
Yeah.
to be quite honest. Now, I know, there are all these fear factors. "Oh, I got to take my insulin, got to have something to eat with it." But the reality is, again, allegedly, because I don't want anybody, come back, be, truthfully, as you start to fast and all of those things, it actually allows your body to do what the body needs to do. And in most cases, it can lower those insulin levels. It can lower the high blood pressure. It'll remove the weight that oftentimes is the reason, uh, that we're dealing with what we're dealing with. And then not only that, it also allows the food that we have been eating to process itself. So
Exactly.
a lot of times that all that fat back and and all of that stuff and all that butter and all of that stuff, and you feeling bloated and heavy and all of that stuff because that stuff is just rotting in your belly.
That's it.
That
But
maybe
you
have a
said something about insulin. I agree with that 110%. But I wrote something and I really felt I wanted to, I just really feel like folks need to hear it this way because I want them to understand what insulin actually is. So, well, insulin resistance, that's just a condition where the body doesn't respond to the hormone. Now, insulin is a hormone that our body makes naturally, supposedly from the pancreas. So I want folks to understand and recognize that we're supposed to eat certain foods and get the sugar from it and break it down
mm,
into the energy. But we're not doing that because of the foods that we're eating that are processed. Um, da 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 da. Again, it's made by your pancreas. So it's something that should already, your body should already be doing. When you eat certain foods just cause an automatic chain reaction and it just breaks down other sources. So your body is supposed to break down the food that you eat into glucose, which is your body's main source of energy.
yeah.
So your body makes insulin, which is what you need for vitality and energy of itself, but we're putting toxins and pathogens and not clearing the pathway for those things to move and release out of the body. And then we take the manufactured stuff and put in there. And that's what's making it allegedly sicker. I
But
wanted to put that out there.
let's keep it real. But what do we do? Because the challenge is, let's keep it 100. Let's keep it a buck. The challenge is most of the stuff that we're eating, it tastes good. I mean, this capitalistic kind of construct is very sophisticated, right? And and I was looking at something the other day just in terms of the meat, some of the meat now that's being produced in a lab and all of this kind of nonsense. And the truth of the matter is that meat may taste better than any meat that you know what I mean? Because they're sophisticated in terms of, reproduction and all of
Yeah.
these good things. Because why the reason oftentimes why we're not moving in the place of wellness because our culture really doesn't want us to. There are all of these advertisements about being well, get to the gym and all of these type of things. But even the gyms understand that most people don't, will pay that money, but will not constantly come to the gym. This is why, truth be told, Planet Fitness and all of those things offer you those low costs, try to set you up on a payment plan because they know you're not coming. That's just the reality, right? That's just
That
the
is
reality.
the reality.
They know you're not coming. And so,
I'm guilty.
they they know they're gonna
Red,
see you.
I must just say this. I drive by, like here in my complex, there is a gym. I
Yeah,
drive by it every day. I
yeah,
pick up my packages from there and look the other way.
yeah, yeah. So the odds are you're gonna pay more than you actually will show up and work out. And so they
Yes,
understand that, right? They understand that. Um, even in terms of even if we're talking about like vegan diets, vegan used to be a really good option, but now corporations then got involved in that whole thing, and now the vegan options are crap. Excuse my French, but you understand what I'm saying. So
yes,
anytime corporations and everything get involved, their whole purpose is to gain a profit off of whatever fad is going on, right?
right.
So at the end of the day, you have to understand that. You have to understand that it ain't just the devil that's against you. You dig what I'm saying? It ain't just the devil. No, it's the
Message.
capitalistic society that you live in that
Yeah,
their whole goal is just to make a profit,
right.
not
So
to
you
really
have to make a decision
right.
because there are certain things that we could use and that you probably use. You're just probably not using them often enough or eliminating something else.
Yeah.
Um, what else? I wanted to say another thing about allergies and things like that. But again, just understanding what insulin is, how it
Mhm.
is in the body, and how it works. I want that to spark something and someone to say, okay, well, let me try to do these things to try to help that. One of
Mhm.
the biggest things, again, fasting. We talk about it because this is church platform. We talk about it in that essence. But like I said last week, I do think
Hey,
that
what
the
you talking
spiritual
about? This is
part of
church
it.
platform. What you talking about?
I mean, on Sundays.
Stop. You're
On
right.
Sundays. Right now, we just community. And you're right. You're right. Um, and I think I had said last week. I lost my train of thought. My granddaughter. The bottom part, our
Mhm.
lymphatic system, which is where some of those things, some of those toxins sit. You know, and we
Yeah.
don't move them. We have to move. You can lose weight, make changes, and exemplify your health with just a few herbs in your kitchen and
Yeah.
fasting. Better
Yeah.
than a gym.
Yeah. So I think what we're trying to say is fasting is a good way of helping yourself, right? Um, doing what you can to watch what you put in your body, and again, to me, everything is within moderation, and so I don't want to be so restrictive that I can't enjoy life. I try to tell people that all the time. I don't want to be so restrictive that I can't enjoy life, but it's really about paying attention, right? And then understanding how the body functions, right? Understanding how the body functions. So just 8 hours between a meal will do wonders for your body, right? Understanding you don't have to be eating on something every day. I mean, you don't have to be eating on something every hour, every minute. And then also begin to look internally, sometimes to even ask yourself, why are you eating like that?
Ask yourself why.
Yeah, because sometimes we're eating not because we're hungry, but because we're going through some stuff. We
Yeah,
feeling some type of way. And,
right.
and so food now becomes comfort to us, right? And
And
so,
those feelings, right, it becomes comfort to us. Those feelings get trapped in the body. So you know the best thing to do when you feel in any kind of way? Go for a walk. Walk
yeah,
around your table. Walk around your house. Walk up your block or something.
yeah,
That walking helps get rid of that. And breathing helps get rid of those things. This
yeah,
is what, I'm trying to paint a roadmap.
yeah. So Leanna Winston is talking to y'all. Yes, she is.
Don't say nothing. You talking to me? Yeah, I think he's talking to you.
Yeah, there it is. Hey, Leanna, I love you so much. Thank you so much for popping in as always, Wellness Wednesday. Hey, if you all have been blessed by Wellness Wednesday, go ahead and hit the hearts and the likes tonight. Show her some love, big her up real quick. Um, man, I am enjoying Wellness Wednesday. I really am. I really am. Grateful and thankful for what you bring to the space, what you're offering to us in the space. Any last words? Any last words?
I do. I have a request. I want to ask. It fell on my heart while I was doing. Listen, I get real panicky. I have little mini panic attacks on Wednesdays. So I had to make sure I shut everything down today. So while I was in my little meditation, because I always want to come correct, um, I feel like it fell on my heart. I always preface things. I'm brave. It fell on my heart to ask folks if on Sunday morning they would want to do a sunrise prayer. And everybody's going through a measure of something. And we could, if you're interested, you could DM me. If it's cool with you, Rev, I'll set up a Zoom, but let's do it. I'll figure out where you are and what your sunrise is, and we can do a quick little 10 minutes. If you give me 10 minutes of your time, I just want to help everybody and get from folks some good energy so we can run the rest of this next week out. So Sunday morning, if you want to meet me.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't I don't have a problem with that. That ain't, it is what it is. I deal with grown people. You know what I mean? That's really how I see it, right? I deal with grown people. And so I'm at the space where um, especially in terms of how we do our work, right? How we do our work, that, people are grown and people are allowed to make decisions for themselves. And so if people have a need for that work, and I think what I've been saying in our ministry, these are certain things that I'm asking for folk to do. Anything else outside of that, uh, folk have to take the lead on that. And so, if folk want to come into a space over the next week or two and, do some sunrise prayer, whatever, hey man, go for it. I
I
ain't
love
mad.
it.
I ain't mad about it. I don't know if I'm gonna be up. Well, I'm always
I
up,
don't know.
but
You
I
know
don't know
what?
if I'm in.
The door is
Um,
open, even if it's just
you
me.
understand what I'm saying? And not because I don't feel the necessity for prayer and everything like that. But I'm keeping it real. You know what I mean? I
I'm with
don't know
you.
what's going to be there, but there may be someone in this space who feels like they need that and want to be a part of that. And I say, hey, go for it. I say, go for it. Then
Anyone
report,
is welcome.
report back to us. The testimonies, the blessings that come up out of that. And that's how we navigate in this space, right? That's how we navigate in the space. This is how we grow in the space while understanding that we are a collective, a community, and we're all trying to figure out how do we make one another better, right?
Yeah.
I was just telling Shakira, I've been going even through my mind, how do we change narratives even around business? And so I was like, man, I want to get into this kind of co-op um, kind of process. And I got some folk in Tennessee who I'm going to be reaching out to. How do we develop co-op businesses where the workers own the business versus there is some like top shelf kind of individual, taking all of the profits and all of that stuff, but where people can share the profits equally. And so those are some of the things I'm thinking through and trying to formulate some plans around that. And so So, that's how I see where we are, in this moment and in this space and time. And so if people want to get together and prayer, man, prayer is always in order. So I'm not mad at that at all.
My heart just got really excited because in my meditation, see, a lot of times going back to how we first started off, not feeling as though you are useful or maybe even just confident or brave in what you're saying. And there's a thing that I'm working on, but I was thinking about it, incorporating it with you and bringing it to you. I wanted to make sure that I get past the time limits and time constraints, but that just makes me feel like I'm on one accord. We'll talk about it outside of here,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
that just makes me feel even
Listen,
more ready.
me, in terms of how we do, we operate on 3 pillars, right?
Yeah.
Sundays with LHBC, Ways Word of the Day, the Life Center. And so I tend to tell people, get connected in those spaces, in all of our social media spaces, and then we ask you to do certain things. We believe in this moment, how we get the gospel out is through tag, texting, liking, and sharing. There was a time when people knocked on doors, but because that's where the people were. But now we don't, in terms of methodology, we don't subscribe to that. We believe that people are on these social media streets, and so we want to meet them where they
Yeah.
are. And so we do that by connecting them in our spaces and then offering valuable content that can help people grow and live and develop, and then also build and create community that is beneficial for everyone, right? From that standpoint. And so that's kind of the work that we do. So if you want to get that Bible, really get that Bible, that's Sundays with LHBC. That's when I'm really gonna, theology, preach, practical, all of those particular things. Ways Word of the Day is not Bible study. Is sometimes I pull the scripture through whatever I talk about, but it's not Bible study. It's really an opportunity to come into spaces and talk about everyday things that really causes us to wrestle with our spirituality, what that means, um, um, physical wellness. That's what we're doing here tonight. And then also understanding, Ways Word of the Day is about understanding that not the vertical side of the cross, but the horizontal side of the cross, our humanity, and how we work in collaboration with one another, moving in purpose and understanding the plan that God would have for us. And so that's what we do, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then obviously the Life Center is where we take our collective blessings and we try to be conduits um, and to share with our larger world, right? Through physical things, give backs and the such, through mental things, literature, books, and all of those particular things. That's what we do. That's what we're doing in the space, and folk who want to help in that kind of construct, cool. Get connected, come be a part of what
So
we.
what I heard, so I'm sorry. So what I heard you say is, go ahead, little sis, we got you. That's what I heard you say. Take
Yeah,
up your
yeah,
bed and walk.
it is. Go ahead and do that. So I was So we always play a little bit of music at the end. So I was thinking about I was thinking about a song. I actually was thinking about Sister Audrey, um, and I was thinking back to the conversation she was telling me about her late husband and all of that good stuff and everything like that. And so I thought about this song, and I thought about us. It's really this guy's talking about his feeling for the woman that he loves, but I think it's also in totality about how we can be connected and how we can stay connected and how love is never lost. You know what I mean? No matter what happens, right? No matter what happens. And so yeah. So let's rock this tonight. Y'all let me know if you're feeling it. Here we go.
Oh, what makes me feel the way you do inside. And I don't know what I would do without you and that's no lie. See, if I die, I'd hope to find you in another life, so we could fall again. Be the way we were when we first began. Yeah. Like the first time that I ever saw you smile. I want that feeling again. Let's be the way we were when we first began. Yeah. Yes, we've got something special. Let's hold on and don't let go. Oh, yeah. And I'll never find another like you, and this I know. If I die, I'd hope to find you in another, so we can fall again. Be the way we were when we first began. Like the first time I ever saw you smile. Give me that feeling again. Let's be the way we were when we first began. Y'all snap with us right here. Come on, say. Wow. When we first began. Yeah. When we first began. When we first began. When we first began. If I die, hope to find you in another. So we can fall again.
Friday,
Be the way we were when we first began. Like the first time I ever saw you smile.
come out of here.
Give me that feeling